Hey guys, so it's Ross here, and what we're going to be doing today is a little bit different. We're going to load up Product Hunt and we're going to choose three websites at random. And as a UX and UI designer, I'm going to review these sites on the fly in front of you, hopefully telling you what they're doing really well, what could be improved, and maybe give you some ideas to what to include in your own SaaS websites. Now, Product Hunt is a website that, if you are unaware, is a place where software companies will launch their products onto here, and it's a very high traffic site where people like myself love to come on and try on new softwares. They might start using them, they might just give you some really valuable feedback. So it's a great place to start, and especially for some startups in the SaaS space. Hopefully we can go through some sites today, not pull out some really random ones, and we can go from there. Okay, so this one is called Hooray, I think that's how it's pronounced. Now I'm on a very large screen, 32-inch monitor, so I think some of these issues that are in the background, this like purple, makes that a little bit hard to read. So here we go, your AI system for customer support automation. So that at least gives us a little bit of an indication of what it is based on this title. We are then going straight into some pricing options, which are okay, and then we'll carry on down into some overall premium features, and there's a basic FAQ with a little bit of an accordion. Okay, so there's what we'll start with. So I think just initially at the top of the page, I'm aware what this title is trying to tell me, but I'm kind of unclear what I'm getting myself into. Is this going to be useful? Is it attractive to me? I think there's very unclear what the overall model is going to be. Pricing options, it then says personal startup team. So these are in theory fine, but I kind of feel like there should be something for me to interact with here. Like, hey, I want to go forward with this pricing option. The overall colors are a little bit hard to read as well. Like for me, these will be fine with like the purple over the top of the black. But I imagine for certain people that might be a little bit harder to read. And there's nothing particularly clear. It's also strange that every single option has 20% off. You would imagine that we would try and highlight a particular option to make it cheaper for me. I'm aware that we're referencing inboxes and an AI assistant, but I think probably having an understanding of what inboxes I can plug in, what that means, how that can be used, I think it's quite unclear what could be done there. As we scroll down, everything is very black, so it's not necessarily the end of the world, but it'd be nice if we had some changes in color just to add some flow to the site and a little bit more detail. We're obviously constantly highlighting, so our eyes are drawn from a color contrast point of view, very much drawn to these AI features, which is in theory okay, but actually the thing that we really want to draw attention to is the Get Started button. And actually that is the same color as all the titles, so it's a little bit unclear, and I would actually want the hierarchy of that information to be switched around and probably make the Get Started button stand out more. I'm also still slightly unsure what these guys offer. I guess that I can click on this down here, maybe we can see that live together. And then you've got an FAQ. So there's not a lot of information to go off. There's no kind of breakdown of how it works for different industries, how it could work for a slightly different service. Can it work for e-commerce? Can it work for SaaS companies? Does it work for agencies? It's a little bit unclear. So I guess this says it's powered by it. So I guess we can try this together. And if this isn't good in the video, I'll just cut it out of the video. How can I help you today? What do you do? Let's see what it says. Oh, brilliant. Cool. I have to put an email address in. I'm going to quickly enter something and we'll go from there. Now, interesting, before I've even typed anything in, it's already skipped past it. Oh, here goes, answered it. Is a customer support platform driven by conversation. It's designed to help businesses. So it's knowledge-based, rule-based. Do you work with e-commerce? Let's see what this says. Just having a little think. Again, kind of strange to ask my phone number and then immediately jump past it. Would help if I could spell, but let's see if it picks up on my spelling. Yeah, you can customize code and voice. Okay, fine. The best probably thing to do is to really, for me, is to push the user to actually interact with this down here. It's also really strange that as I cycle up, it always goes white. That's really, really unusual. So yeah, I kind of want to be able to click through all this. I can go to a claim my offer, but I'm just then it links me out to another page where I've got to sign up. So I think for me, there's a a confusion here about what is the overall purpose of the page. Are we trying to push the user to sign up for an offer? Do we want them to demo this system down here in the right-hand corner? Do we want them to sign up straight away? It's very unclear what the overall purpose of this site is as well. So there's a lot that we can learn from this. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of indication from my immediate reactions of what we've got here. So the next one we've got to look at here is Clear VPN. Again, these are just picked at random from Product Hunt, so I don't necessarily know what I'm going to see. Again, probably looks a little bit strange on my very large screen, but I kind of get used to that, so that's not too much of an issue for myself. We obviously are landing on this. There's a presumption with just the language here, so one-tap VPN for secure online journeys. I'm guessing that they know from their own personas of who use this website that these personas will know what a VPN is, because not everyone will. But I'm guessing they've figured that out, hopefully. The language is very much like hassle-free VPN, so there is obviously an expectation that we know what that's going to be. And then this is a nice example, going back to what I was saying about a little bit of color contrast here, is the green really stands out. It really kind of draws a lot of contrast compared to the rest of the page. And we've got this indication of what's this left-hand image, icon, logo, I'm not even sure what it is. I guess feels slightly like a wasted opportunity, that we could probably have something visual here to better demonstrate what this one-tap VPN system is, whether it's even a little video just to loading it up and showing how it works and showing that you're in a secure environment. That kind of feels like a lost opportunity. This swoop is okay, but the padding is off. The padding is only off, again, I'm presuming because of the size of my screen. Everything feels a little bit too tight just here. And as we scroll down, it's strange that the first thing that it decides to reference is an eye-pleasing interface. I guess slightly unusual, but I don't necessarily view that as a number one requirement for my VPN service. Useful, should be on this page, but probably not this high. But again, it's at least showing it here. Also interesting to see that right at the top of the page, the free download is now sticky. It's always on show. We're pushing the user to get this download. And actually, from a hierarchy point of view, they clearly want people to download the free version first, and presumably when they're in the free version, they get upsold into the next premium version, which is why, although premium is there, it's not the main thing that we're pushing a user to. Content is all really small, nice and easy to digest. We've got some icons to help brighten it up. And this is a nice example as well as how you'll see in the background here that we start off in a very kind of dark purple, and as we cycle down, we ever so slightly change to a blue, and then it becomes lighter again. And this goes back a little bit to what I said in the last example, is everything felt very samey in the last design. It was all just a big block of black. This is quite nice. That adds a little bit of kind of flavor to it. It's a little bit different. We're referencing overall loved, and this is obviously credibility building. So we're highlighting any credibility that they might have straight away. As we cycle on down, you've then got this upgrade to this other area, which again is fine. And they are doing some understandings, which I think is fairly useful for you to go, okay, well, I've got X device, so what device do I need to have here? Is it Android? Is it iOS? Is it Mac? Works quite nicely. And then they do have a newsletter, but again, feels slightly like a wasted opportunity. Like, could we have something as a download given to me to have a read of? There's not much of a reason why I would probably want to sign up for this other than some best deals. I'm not sure that's a valid enough reason to it. So overall, probably a little bit easier to understand, a little bit easier to navigate than the last site that we looked at. The CTAs at least stand out a little bit more. I think there's probably more that we could maybe do around the overall content. And some of the micro content that's very much pushing VPNs probably needs a little bit of thought around it as well. But again, they probably know their personas fairly well. And then the last one we're going to look at is Martin, or trymartin.com. So again, there's a lot of black space in the middle here, but I'm on a very large monitor, so maybe that's just something for us to take into account. It says, Martin is your new AI butler, your Tony Stark. So again, from a persona point of view, as long as you've seen the Marvel films, as long as you've seen Iron Man, that will make sense. Maybe having a reference to Jarvis isn't allowed, for example. Personal AI you can text, email, or talk to, gets to know you and proactively finds ways to help you. That there is a lot easier to understand from a micro content point of view. It's very clear what they're going to help with. Even just referencing integrated with calendars, email, and search, and more. I probably could have been made a little bit more visual by maybe swapping in some icons to represent those. But overall, that kind of makes sense. There's a video explainer over here. I might just mute that. So let's have a quick look at what we get. So overall, it's there's not a lot of it's presumably talking, and I'm not going to get to hear that. but at least it's showing the video. I would say from a credibility point of view, just holding your phone and then filming it again doesn't feel that credible. I think they could have done a little bit more with this video to make it feel a little bit better, feel a bit more professional. I think is probably the way I would have done it. Even if they just screen recorded the actual phone, right? So rather than having to hold your camera in front of it, feels a little bit unusual, a bit rushed. I feel like that could have been better thought out. And the reason I do highlight that is that will stand out to users, that immediately if that video was more polished, it's probably going to get more people to sign up for a free trial. So something as simple as just, every iPhone has these kind of systems built in where you can just record the screen and your voice at the same time. I think that would work a lot better and just have it placed there instead. As we go down here, we've got some different options. Again, I think they're probably doing a fairly good idea here, which is the most well-known one is going to be this chat system over here, right? So it makes sense to just say, this is the one that everyone knows about. Let's show you how Martin is going to be better than that. So the fact we can text and email and speak with it, it can manage these things. Everything is fairly easy to digest. It's fairly simple. There is some slight repetition over here. So, we've got these sections up here and these sections up over here. So it probably could have been a little bit more thought about what's going in there. But overall, it's not terrible. I think the overall design could be massively improved. It feels a little bit unfinished and rushed compared to some of those other designs that we've seen. But we do have some high contrast options for this Get Martin for free, and there's a 7-day trial, which is nice. I don't see a reference to pricing anywhere at the moment. We do have a pricing option in the top right corner, but as I start to scroll down, that is no longer sticky. So it's a shame that that's not being constantly referenced to me, but we can look at the pricing page in a little minute. We're then referencing what it can get done for me. So those who have been settled, found some local restaurants, that's quite useful. Dug into more. So yeah, like it's giving some examples of it. Find a movie for me and my son, and it's referencing the new I like certain things. I don't know how it knows that, but presumably it's grabbing that information from my Google Calendar maybe, or my Google account, or what I've searched for. And then it's giving examples about how it could be used, which again, I think actually makes sense. It's very clean, very simple to understand. I would imagine from the look of this desktop mobile that it's probably more designed for a mobile than a desktop, especially not my large screen. But at least it's giving really good examples about how each individual way can be used. And actually, it seems pretty cool. You then get a little bit at the bottom, so a lot more coming to tell us what you want to have below. That's really nice. It's showing a road mapping kind of point of view. But everything through is we do have these Get Martin for free again, so we do have high contrast. This button does not stand out in the slightest. There needs to be some consideration around that. So I am surprised that on the homepage we don't reference pricing. And the reason I think that's key is that, yes, you are offering people for free to start with on a trial, but they're going to want to see the pricing before they even trial it. So having to get the user to scroll all the way back to the top of the page, then hit pricing, feels like additional steps that we don't really need to have. There could probably just have been this particular module that's literally just this one section on the home page. I don't even think you need necessarily the separate pricing page. You could have this module on the home page. You could still keep pricing in the main menu and just scroll down. But then if the user clicks to it, great, they scroll down. And if they just happen to be scrolling anyway, they're still going to get to this information soon. They've obviously referenced here to say this is coming soon. It's strange to them. And again, this needs some consideration. This button here, which is Try Martin for free, is clickable and black and has a very particular style to it. This button here that says coming soon looks exactly the same, but it isn't clickable. So I would make this one, this Try Martin for free, stand out a bit more, and make sure that this one doesn't look like it's a genuine button I can click. That's confusing to the user. The other thing is there's no interaction, there's no hover state. When I move my cursor over it, yes, the cursor becomes a thumb, but the button doesn't change in any way, whether that should be a little bit of color or some depress, or it should get bigger or smaller or have something over the top of it. But normally anything that you can interact with should have something on it to show, and nothing really does on this particular site. And then we just get into the footer. So those would be probably my thoughts on that one as well. So if you are running a SaaS company, hopefully looking through and doing this kind of designer reacts video has been fairly beneficial. Hopefully you found some ideas that you might be able to add into your own, or you can look at that and go like, oh yeah, I'd never really considered that. And that was the idea about it. I've never done these kind of designer react videos before. Let me know if you think there's any tweaks and changes I could do to them to make them more useful to you guys, but hopefully that's a good place to start. We do have some more videos that are going to pop up across for you to have a look at. And if there's any websites or anything you want me to review, please put them in the comments. Thanks.